I hope you're well.
I'm doing great yourself.
I am also doing well. I'm sure you've seen the statement that was put out, and he said that the Bar Council of England and Wales and the Commonwealth Lawyers Association statement on the suspension of the Chief Justice. What are your observations from the statement?
So let me wish your lovely listeners a good morning. In fact, without going to the content of the statement, because a lot of things raised in the statement are issues that have been debated for a long time in this country. For me, my biggest concern is not necessarily their view, but is their cockroach audacity, the temerity on the part of the council to order the president of Ghana to violate the constitution of this country. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And for me, this letter sparks of massive disrespect for the people of Ghana. We are sovereign for crying out loud. I don't understand why the council or the bar of Wales and England will think that they will have the power, the authority to order the president of Ghana to violate the laws of Ghana. Now, I see they talking about transparency. You see, you can state your personal opinion. Personally, I and the president, my personal opinion is that for this article, Article 146 of our constitution, to pass the test of legitimacy, it ought to be transparent. That's the constitution as it stands today, right now. It's saying that every process under Article 146 ought to be held in camera. So yes, the issue is about what you think about the law. But like the city herself said, you can say all you want to say. You can do all the propaganda you want. The law remains the law. And as of today, the law of Ghana is that where a petition is made against any Supreme Court judge, against the city, every process there must be held in camera. That's the constitution. You get it?
Yes.
Secondly, my personal view is that the Article 146 of the Constitution, where the Council of State have made a specific advice on the issue of suspension to the president, the president must act in accordance to that. And so, where's the big? Yeah. And see, and when you understand that the president on 7 January 2025 took an oath, swore not just to preserve the constitution of Ghana, but he swore to defend and protect the constitution of Ghana. And so it is disingenuous, very disrespectful for anybody to order the president to breach the oath he took by ordering the president to breach the constitution of Ghana. The constitution, the president took an oath to defend, protect, and preserve. So, Sana, we should disregard this council, and let's stay focused, and let's every single Ghanaian defend the president. Because what is at stake is our sovereignty itself, and we won't sacrifice that sovereignty on any altar. No, we won't do that.
I see. But you said most of the things said in the statement you've heard before. Do they make any germane point that you think, not minding the fact that they have no right to interfere, do they make any point that you think those handling the process should take into consideration? Well, we'll get Lawyer Pierre Dankwa back on the line. We'll get Lawyer Pierre Dankwa back on the line, conclude this conversation on this matter. But before we continue, let me remind you that if you're looking for a job, a reputable company located in Accra is urgently seeking the services of a security man for immediate employment. Applicants residing in or around Medina, Adenta, and Oyarifa will have an added advantage. Interested candidates should kindly submit their CV via WhatsApp to 0244 995 173. 0244 995 173. Lawyer has joined us back on the line. I thank you very much. I was asking whether you think there's something that has been said by the two institutions that those handling the process should take into consideration.
Your question again.
I'm asking whether you think that the two bodies that issued this joint statement, whether there's something they said, any concern they raised that we should consider, including those handling the hearings into the petitions.
So when it comes to the issue of transparency, my point of view is that the Constitutional Review Committee set up by the President may consider that. You understand? Because I think that this process can be any threat of propaganda. You understand? If it's transparent. But as it relates to the process as happening today, the process that's happening today, I don't see anything that has been done that is unconstitutional. And so in relation to what is happening now, as it pertaining to the petition to remove the CJ, then we should totally disregard what they are saying.
I see. But on this matter, because you made this suggestion many times that you would prefer that it is transparent and open. When you're asking for transparency, exactly what form do you think this should take?
So it wants to be public. So
Public.
For instance, you know they've taken a decision that a prima facie case has been made. I think the reason of that decision ought to have been made public. But let me emphasize or reiterate this point that as the Constitution of Ghana stands now, everything in the process is supposed to be done in camera, so that if the process is transparent, like some of us are proposing, that the Constitutional Review should take care of that, it would amount to a breach of our Constitution.
I see. But at this point, you're saying that this is your suggestion for a constitutional review. But at this point, everything that is being done for you, all the tests you have applied, they are following the Constitution. They haven't done anything against the Constitution.
Exactly. That's my personal view.
But
and so the call can be to question the law, and not to say that anything being done now and that the Constitution stands today is unconstitutional.
Then I wonder how you find the CJ's, I don't know, I think people call it forum shopping. She's moved from court to court, sometimes written to even embassies, among others, to intervene. What do you make of this if you find that there's no breach of the Constitution?
Yes, that's my opinion. Maybe probably CJ sees some breach, and that's why she is going to court. And I think the courts have also told her their opinion. Yeah. So I don't have any issue with the CJ shopping, foreign shopping. My only issue so far with her has to do with the press conference she gave, which in my opinion, I think that it was a breach of our Constitution.
Well, let me conclude with you by asking you a question. Would you return to the New Patriotic Party under the new amnesty that has been offered?
Sarah, would you advise me to go to a possessed house?
A possessed house?
A house. Would you advise me to go and live in a house possessed by family and friends?
Now, is that what you're comparing the MPP to? A house possessed by familiar spirits?
Would you advise me to go and stay in a house, or let's say I was in a house
Mm-hmm.
and I left that house because the house had been taken over by familiar spirits, evil spirits. So I leave. And then the landlord says, "Oh, I should come back." When the last rent even has increased by tenfold, then I would have ready to go back.
Well, in a scenario, yeah, certainly not.
So now you have my answer.
But why do you keep calling them a party that has been taken over by familiar spirits?
Yeah, so a party that has departed fundamentally, so radically from their core principles and values. Now, a party that is using a spirit that is adverse to the collective spirit of Ghana and their original spirit can only be a party that has been taken over by familiar spirit. So, then unless you want us to have like a 1 hour or 2 hours or 24-hour discussion on this.
I see. Well, anyway, but is the olive branch because for a party that is in the position you talk about, should that not be a first step? That first step.
No, you see. So when you read the content of their letter, first of all, I think the so-called olive branch is extended to two groups of people. One, people that they themselves are suspended, and people who have left the party. Now the question is, at least I'm not interested. I'm not too interested in the suspended people. I want to address the people who left the party. Why did they leave the party in the first place? Has the party addressed the reason why the people left the party in the first place? Because if you recall, on the 25th of September, I think 2023, when the movement of change was outdoored, Honorable Alan said that he and his followers have not departed from the ideals and values of the founding members of the New Patriotic Party. And that the New Patriotic Party have departed so radically from their ideals, from their values, that is a party that do not have virtue anymore. Indeed, after that war, Honorable Wache Jakon, a senior respected member of the party, also said that beyond Alan Samanto and his supporters who have left, there are millions of people, MEP supporters, who have left the party in their heart. And they've left because of the radical departure of the party from their core values. Now, indeed, so many instances after the 25th of September 2023, the NPP demonstrated that they no longer believe even in the rule of law. You recall the argument they made during the parliament impasse, where they said that in spite of the clear terms of their constitution, the executive reserves their right, in fact, indeed, they reserve the power to arbitrarily apply the terms of their constitution as and how they will. And so, it's not the fact that the constitution says that if you supported a candidate who puts himself up against the candidate the party has supported, automatically you are deemed to have left the party. They can decide and choose who to apply that principle and who not to apply that principle. You recall in the case of Ejako himself, how that election, before the election, meant to break a tie between he and what's it called, other candidates during their their elections to sift the numbers from 10 to 5.
Yes.
You recall what's called the fact that right now beating and killing and violence, a lot of violence are rampant within their party. Were you not ashamed as a Ghanaian when the minority chief whip of their party charged their MPs, MPPs, solid MPs, to destroy the property of Ghana? We're not concerned when the same minority leader employed the supporters of NPP to help their fellow NPP members to beat up NDC members. You recall the incident that led to the famous "I'll give you a showdown" incident. The fact that Alan Chamantin's what we call agent in the Northeast was beaten to the point where he almost lost his eye. In fact, if you go back to incidents from 2008, the fact that people like Nana Kwame were beaten to the extent that right now, I mean, his body can't function like our bodies can function. The Afoko Skupita, the clear disregard for value and principle, all die be die. You see, Nanado radically altered the spirit of the party. He sacked everything that was good about the NPP and invited wholeheartedly the spirit of the family spirit into the party. When the parties were destroying the environment, the forest, were doing Galamsey. In fact, they were actively enabling Galamsey, putting all of our lives at peril. Is this idea that you want me to join? You want me to join this? You want me to go back to this family spirit, this possessed house? I beg you.
But they are ready to repent and be baptized.
Have they said that? Where if I see the tone of that letter, tells me of a party that is so arrogant in their ways. You are giving me amnesty. No, I should be giving you amnesty.
You should be giving them amnesty.
Yes.
How?
They've wronged us. They possess our house. And also, so first of all, that house must be purged of the familiar spirit. Then they can make us reconsider. But the familiar spirit is even doubled. It's come tenfold. And you know the temerity to say you're offering, and even read the tone of now within 2 years you can't even contest for anything. This parochial spirit party, why would anybody want to join? So I beg you. I know I'm your brother. You should have right to be entering into houses that are possessed by evil.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Lavia Dankwa is a private legal practitioner and also spokesperson for the Movement for Change. He says he will not return to a house possessed by familiar spirits. And SM, I don't know whether you've been on Facebook. For somehow they are roasting Vincent Eko Isefua. Yes, they say he's no. Actually, they say it's a low budget Okujeto Ablakwa and all those things. So very interesting. He's been, in fact, he's been roasted badly.
We say the Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, now Foreign Affairs Minister. On can semana trasa.
Okay.
You said the President of the Republic of Ghana. No more Thanksgiving service.
Yes.
By 10 munina no Ghana.
Yes.
To nipa bakono ade odane ne humienu na 10 no ha. Na 7 wasan etua or the private jet air kwamanoniana.
But he also says he did not mention anybody's name.
Oh. And in so say adwuma no be ya onyere no ho. Onyere no ho. No nye ni yesuso.
And take it seriously.
Yes. But you say we are now to the gun crofoni. Can cry the woman na enko gya yanko check ni say oh the can yampa. Who said they no could to ye na or man no amount flight number no amount say wa nkasa by your research be fetch be kon. Who say yes the omo no nyina isisi so pepe. Or so no a block ni comment section. Ocho no blog in the comment section. And do we also do me?
So okay, there are some limited people who can comment on it. Okay. Because this is I think this is what started it. He posted 8 hours ago. This private jet BAEP left Accra this morning around 7 a.m. It is estimated to cost $15,000 per hour to rent this flight. A simple calculation shows that a 7-hour journey already covered amounts to $105,000. If the flight proceeds to Japan, which is likely to take about 12 hours, that will be another $180,000. If it then continues to Singapore, approximately 7 hours away, that will add another $105,000. Finally, the jet flies directly to Germany and then back to Accra, a total of about 20 hours return trip. That will add another $300,000. Altogether, the cost comes to an incredible $690,000 without including waiting times and stopovers. Damn. This is him, what he posted. So, Stan Dogbe went to, Deputy Chief of Staff, mostly in charge of the President protocol and movements most of the time. Then he says, this one here will also demand, that's his response to Vincent Ekos, will also demand to be called honorable. Even if you are not street smart, it doesn't take much brain work to avoid embarrassing yourself. Or the president was live on many TV networks between 10:30 and 12:45 p.m. And if you're watching, you also see that the president was live from Christ the King Cathedral of the Catholic Church here in Accra, attending the Thanksgiving Mass of Dr. Eduardo Manibuama at the Christ the King Parish. Okay, there's only one cathedral. There's the one, Holy Spirit. Did he take off in the supposed jet at 7 a.m. and flew back for the 10:30 a.m. Mass? I guess we have to ask his classmates how smart this guy was in his lower school days. Because, this is not how to be relevant to Vincent Ekos. If I invest in reading and how to be politically relevant and stop disgracing MPs. # resetting Ghana. Now, he shares this comment of Stan Dogbe on his post. Because Stan Dogbe, to when he was sharing it, he actually shares what he posted. So he shares what has been shared and the comments that were made. And then he says, nonsense. Your smart self couldn't tell you that the post did not mention your name. Neither did it mention anyone's name. If not John Mahama, how can someone like you become a deputy chief of staff? So, and this is quite an interesting thing, and it looks like he too has gone on that tangent. But very interesting. I'm wondering why a noble member of parliament is worried about if you did not mention anybody's name. Is that not involve the public? A noble member of parliament for Tafo. Why would you be talk about a private jet that landed in Ghana and was moving from one place to another? And all the rules that he mentioned are the rules that the president has announced. There's a statement from the presidency. Did the presidency not issue a statement clearly indicating that the president will... President John Dramani Mahama would undertake an official 2-country visit to Japan and Singapore aimed at deepening bilateral relations, expanding trade and investment links, and advancing cooperation on shared development priorities. In Japan, the president will attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on Africa Development. That's TICAD 9, where he will make a presentation at the plenary session on the economy, promoting trade and investment. Then, the President will deliver an address at a Ghana Presidential Investment Forum, showcasing Ghana's investment opportunities at the Resetting Ghana agenda. You also hold a series of bilateral meetings with key Japanese partners, including the president of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, senior representatives of the Japan External Trade Organization, and the Prime Minister of Japan, Shigeru Ishiba, to discuss trade, investment, technical cooperation, and infrastructural partnerships. So this is clearly the president indicating that they will move from Japan to Singapore. No be so. So if you are saying that, can it not be suggested that, of course, you are a member of parliament, so we guess you are only concerned about how the public purse is used. This is a member of parliament for Tafo is telling us that he's concerned about a private jet landing in Ghana and is calculating how much it will cost for the jet to move for no reason. That's what he's spending his time.
Sebi or Hona, Nadrian is all on your calculations.
Yeah, then he started doing calculations.
Say flight to be a BC and fan. No, your calculations.
Then he has time, Papa.
All time.
The Tafo people need to find him something to do. But you can't do that because when you are saying this, everybody assumes. So people after reading this and knowing that president is moving, will get worried. President Mahama that we brought into office not to be like Akufo-Addo, is also becoming like Akufo-Addo. Would we not get worried that this is the implication? Is what you are implying?
By the president even went with a commercial flight.
And the president has moved. So that's the interesting part. The interesting part is that you see, when you are caught, yes, admit.
He would never admit.
You lied and then you are caught.
Vincent
You lied, then you are caught. You are rushing. You are rushing. In fact, I recall many a times you remember that when Okudzeto Ablakwa started on the presidential travels and started raising issues with the president. And I realized that recently when we had this tragic accident, people went back to what he said, to the work he did at the time, and how that made it difficult for the president to travel by private jet anymore. And they were talking about when the matter involved has nothing to do with presidential jets. We haven't even discovered what happened to the helicopter. How do we conclude and start jumping? And I've had so many discussions that worry me. Okay. So helicopter flew from Accra, is going to Obuasi, gets involved in an accident. Should we know at least wait to understand what happened before we start even talking about? In fact, people are even start saying that our army cannot defeat that of Togo. How can you say that? Who wants to disclose the strength of the army so easily like that? That you are telling the Togolese that, the Togolese will now realize, we can beat Ghana army. For all these years. You see, one of the things that helps you in war is unpredictable. Is reputation. Why? Do you think American army, when was the last time they went to war? Who can tell whether or not they can face anybody? After what happened to them in Iraq and Afghanistan and those places. But people believe that you can't take on the American army because of long-standing reputation. So when your country has an army that they respect, you don't just go and sit on TV and say that the army is not in good shape. It's a discussion to have on TV and on radio. When you are done, so if somebody, maybe Togolese fine or Abidjan, what do you call it? Côte d'Ivoire. One day they are doing something and we issue a statement telling them, we think that they shouldn't do this and everything. And Côte d'Ivoire, they fear us because they know that our army is strong. Then we go and perhaps maybe they are fighting some rebels and they start shooting something into our country and we say we caution them that they should stop. Else we will retaliate. Then they have heard that the army has they say they will throw more, and when we mess up they will move troops into our country because they are convinced that our army is not in good shape. Who says that? Anyway, but we said all that this last week. We've said that our army is. How can you say that? Our Air Force is not in good shape. Our Navy is not in good shape. The Army, the ground troops are also not in good shape. We said all that last week because of a helicopter crash, the cause of which we haven't established yet. They will give away. We've told everybody that the fact that we even say that we cannot be Togo alone. So imagine how the people at the top. Meanwhile, there's an insurgency happening at the top. There are terrorists attacking countries at your top. How do you say that about yourself? Anyway, SM, then perhaps we'll pick a few calls from our listeners. It's been a while. Okay, so we'll have a message from the National Lotteries Authority for you. But before then, CompuGhana is also holding this promotion that I'd like to remind you of. The